Hello sewing friends, this is Lisa from Sweetheart Sews. I was at the thrift store the other day and I stumbled upon a little treasure, a 100% merino wool sweater. The sweater looked a little sad, it was quite shrunk and a bit deformed, but I love the dusty rose color and the buttons going down the back. I was hoping I could make it work. I enjoy sewing, but I don't know very much about knitting, so I wasn't sure I could make the sweater fit me. But for $6.49, I thought I could risk an experiment. I did a little bit of research to see what I could do to revive a shrunken sweater. I learned that if the threads of the knit were still visible, then it could be salvaged. If the threads of the pattern were hard to see, that meant that the wool was felted and it could not be repaired, and I'd have to turn it into something else. I took a closer look at the sweater to inspect the fibers. Although they were shrunk and quite a bit fuzzy, I could still see the individual threads, so I thought I'd be able to make it work. My first step was to assess the fit. I tried on the sweater to determine where it fit me and where it did not. I found that the sweater was quite tight across the chest, along the arms, and in the armpits as well. The neckline was wobbly and quite deformed, stretched out of shape, especially at the back. The back was a good length, but although the sweater was cropped, it was way too short at the front and quite baggy as well, creating a strange high-low hem. The fit was quite unflattering, but I was hoping I could make it work. I gave the sweater a cool bath with a bit of hair conditioner in the water. I let it soak for an hour to really absorb the water and help relax the fibers to make it easier to stretch. Then I rolled the sweater in a towel to absorb the excess water. I squeezed the roll, but I didn't wring it or twist it to avoid damaging the fibers. I unrolled the sweater and laid it on a foam sheet. I gently stretched the sweater where I wanted it to be wider and longer. I used sewing pins to pin it in place to avoid it shrinking back into shape. I used a lot of pins, hoping it would give me a more even stretch and put less stress on each individual pin. I pulled the front of the sweater, but left the back as it was. I checked the measurements and adjusted as I needed. I found that I needed to put the pins in at an angle to keep them stable so that the sweater did not ride up the pins as it tried to stretch back into its original shape. I left the sweater for a few days to make sure it was completely dry. Then I took it off the board and ironed it on the wool siding with a bit of steam to help get out some of the creases that I had along the sides where it had dried flat. I tried on the sweater again, and the fit is much better now. The front and the back hemline line up. The sweater is not nearly as tight across the bust or in the armpits. I feel like I can actually move my arms now. The neckline is nice and smooth and isn't wobbly. It's lying flat across my shoulders. The overall fit of the sweater is loose, but not baggy. I'm really happy with the final result of my sweater. I'm glad that I tried this experiment. It didn't take a lot of effort, just a few hours of soaking time and a few days of drying. But for $6.49, I'm really happy that I took this risk. Thank you for watching my video and see you soon. Bye!